Welcome, welcome. I have just arrived at the wonderful lions here our Nkuhuma Pride. Now we are coming to you from Djuma in the Sabi Sands in the western fringes of the Kruger National Park here in South Africa. And I have for you the Nkuhuma lions. We have 5 of them here today. We saw the whole pride earlier this morning, and we were hoping that we would be able to locate the entire pride, but unfortunately not. But we were lucky enough to find these guys by the grace of Craig, the cameraman on today. Thank you all. I'm so happy to be back. I am Trishala, of course, you know that. And I am very, very happy to be back. I've missed it so much. I've missed you guys so much, and I've missed the bush so much. And of course, the wonderful, wonderful lions that we have here. It's really good to be back. And thank you for the warm welcome, everybody. It's actually cooling down a bit now. It's been not too hot of a day, actually. I didn't expect, I wasn't feeling too bad. It was hot, but as we know, I survive best in hot weather. But I wonder where the rest of the guys are. What do you guys think? Remember, use the hashtag SafariLive to send us any of your comments and questions, and of course, the YouTube chat stream as well. We love to hear from you. Maybe you can tell us where you think they've gone. I love how the one lion has her paws wrapped around that tree just in between. They really are lazy in the day. Safari Jen would like to know if these are all the grown-up lionesses. Well, we were actually chatting about this earlier, and what we think from the 5 that are with us now is that one is the youngest female, we think, and there are a few of the older ones here as well. We think there might be the ridge-nosed female on that end, and we also think that Amber Eyes is on the opposite side. Giving a good old scratch. We can't really see right now until she opens her eyes. They all do, oh, hello. Are you stirring because there's a cool breeze coming past at last? Where are your friends? They're not interested in my question. While these guys take a well-deserved nap, I'm sure they've been working hard in this weekday. Let us see some hippos in the meantime.
Utanipiga warning ukikuja kwangu. Well, welcome to Maasai Mara, and we are by the Mara River. And here I have in the inhabitants of this beautiful river. Yes, we are very, very afraid of your dental formula. I think he had to make a statement that we are back and we are live. My name is Isaac Rotich, and on camera is Bungei. Welcome to the Maasai Mara, and we are by the Mara River, the beautiful Mara River. Over here, I have hippos, crocodiles, and lots of crocodiles and lots of hippos. Over there, before you came in, there were 2 guys who were sizing each other. And the reason is same old story. It's a female. There is a female, you will see. She's raising her backside, which means she's coming into season, and the males are gathered trying to mate with her. Usually there is a dominant male who is the head, but other bachelor bulls will try and get in to get a share of the mating. But sometimes, the male will chase them, and in this case, This guy, I think he has been told, hey mate, you have no chance here, try somewhere else. And so he is leaving. He has left. In this river, we have very, very many hippos. Paula, you asked me how deep does the Mara River get? This time of the year, it is the shallowest, and it's only about 3 to 4 feet where we're looking down there. Some areas are about 5 feet, but in the rainy season, it is rough, it is very high, it breaks its banks, and it can be up to 15 to 20 feet. Where I'm, parked right here, the water comes all the way here. Yes, that is a beautiful guy there. He has decided to move to a different area where it's safer, and maybe the male won't come for him. So it does get very, very deep, but it varies from different times of the year. You can tell that hippo is around 4 feet, and he has disappeared. But walking and wading through this water is no problem for him. It's a walk in the park. These guys will stay in the water until later. Ravinda, you asked me if the hippos sometimes feed on fish. Well, that is rather interesting. Hippos don't feed on any kind of meat unless it is by bad luck. When they are, plucking grass off the ground, then a grasshopper goes in, which they don't actually need. That is the only time. They are vegetarians and they eat only grass. I will tell you a great story about how in the beginning, they were asked, other animals complained a lot, other animals living in the water, like crocodiles. They complain and say, if you stay in the water, you're gonna eat all the fish and we won't have anything to eat. And so, the hippo decided that every time I go to the bathroom, I'll spread my droppings. And so for that, you can look for fish bones. And if you find even a single fish bone, then you can kick me out of water. And since then, that's why when hippos come out, they defecate in one spot, always spreading their scut or their droppings, so that the crocodile can come and take a look. And if there is bones, then he will be kicked out. So they're still vegetarian to date, and they will consume up to around 40 kilograms of grass in a night. They can walk up to around 7 kilometers, which is around 4 miles, to look for grazing when it's really dry. But here in the Maasai Mara, there's no issue with the grass. There is a lot to see in this beautiful river, and I would like to show you something else that is rather quite interesting, and it is in plenty. We have so many of them. And these are the famous Nile crocodiles. They're everywhere. I don't know if you see any. Let's have a look on this side. Over here, there is quite a good number of them. This is another creature that we find here. That is the father of them all. Roslyn, you asked me how dangerous are crocodiles? They are very, very dangerous. I wouldn't mess with a crocodile anytime. I would say they are very dangerous. You don't play with a crocodile because we don't know how to defend ourselves in water. And can you imagine being in this water where you can't see under, full of rocks? It grabs you, takes you under, rolls you over, and you hit a rock. You have no chance. I would put it as very, very dangerous. Over here, we have, I think it's a crocodile corner. All of them out, enjoying the afternoon sun. That looks like a piece of blanket that was brought by water from maybe upstream. Yes, you can see there are different colors here. Somebody taught me and told me that the darker ones and much bigger muzzle and stockier muzzle are males, and the more colorful yellow and blackish ones are females, and they have much more pointed nose. I still have to come to terms with that, but I sometimes see the difference. But over here, the majority are all males. Look at those teeth. Those are the ones that do all the justice during the migration. During the migration, if you don't know about the migration, I'm talking the migration of wildebeest, parked just where the wildebeest cross. When they come crossing, those teeth do the job. They get hold of a leg or an underbelly of a zebra or wildebeest, pull it under, and the zebra or wildebeest has got no chance. These great predators play a very big role in such that they are the only animals that justify, reducing the numbers of wildebeest more than the lion, the cheetahs, the leopards, and the wild dogs. It is estimated these guys kill more than 100 to 150,000 wildebeest almost in every migration. So they are parked here waiting for the next migration. Amazingly, they can feed one big meal and then spend the rest of the year waiting for another meal. And you can tell why. They are not doing much. They're not using any energy. So that one big meal will take them throughout the year. This is the Nile crocodile, a predator that still considers man as a source of food. So when you come to the Maasai Mara, no bikinis, no skinny dipping, unless you don't want to go back home. That one to the left, he's such a big daddy. Look at him. Remember to join us on conversation on #SafariLife. You can ask us as many questions as possible. That's why we're here for you. Bring them on so that you can make this much more exciting. Yes, you can tell that guy he's so happy. Magic Dragon Wizard, is there good fishing in the Mara River? I would assume there is, but the law dictates that there is no fishing in the reserves and in the park. And that's how I think it should be, because if we let people come fishing here, I think they will be fished by these reptiles or these crocodiles. So there's no fishing here, but there is plenty of mudfish, catfish, silverfish, long-snouted fish. All those are found in the Mara River, but there is no fishing. I'm sure it is very tempting, and if you love, fishing like I do, it is very tempting. But I would advise you, don't fish in the Mara River. If the crocodile doesn't get you, the hippo will get you, and it's not a good thing. There are better places to do fishing. So, no fishing. Yes, this is such a great time because the weather is, the sun is getting, less hot, so it's really nice. I'll link you down to Trishala, who's got some sleeping lions.
I am really hoping that these guys maybe get something to eat today. It's one thing to look forward to in the afternoon drive, is that you have the day that turns into the night, and then you can really see the changes that happen, especially with lions. That's quite evident. You'll see them go from this yawning and all relaxed upon each other, pushing and stretching like children in a cot, to vicious, ferocious hunters. Now, yesterday we saw quite a big herd of buffalo up in the north side of Juma, and I wonder if they're still around. And we know a good, big, hearty meal like a buffalo would definitely please these guys. Oh, look at that. Let me just use that tree to stretch about. Marino would like to know how old these lions are. Well, at the moment we have a bit of a mixed bag, you could say. And we have what we thought was the ridge-nosed female, and she is the one we think with her. If you move a little bit out, Craig, the one next to the one with the tree. And she was born, oh well, actually not sure when she was born. But she is one of the adults at the moment. And then we also have a sub-adult, excuse me, around, I don't know if you can see her, but we're speculating that she's the sub-adult at the moment. Sub-adult will be about, sub-adult would be between two, about 2, and then would be an adult at around 3. So we're going to assume that 2 is the correct age. And the ridge-nosed female and her cronies, we'd say, probably around 5 at this point. For example, I think Amber Eyes, I'm not sure if she's in here or not, she was born in 2013. So that would make her 6, or close to 6 at the moment. And of course we would be expecting some cubs, hopefully, soon. And those little tots would be lovely to look at as well. Be nice to watch them grow and be able to monitor them from the time that I'm here. I think that's really special. And I know with the hyenas and plonk, it's so easy to tell, well, kind of to follow them, because you've been here from the time they're born and their entire life, and you get to follow them. I think that's really special. That's why I'm really looking forward to some cubs here. And then you can just know exact ages. It's so easy because you've kind of lived it through with them, which I think is quite cool. While these guys laze around, I might actually take a look at what else is in the area. And in the meantime, let's go over to Isaac with something very cute that I recognize from Durban.
Yes, we have something here. This is a gang of mongoose, and this is the famous banded mongoose. Very busy looking for those dung beetles, that have buried underground, and they are looking for them. That is a male, you can tell. He's got some gadgets behind his hind legs. That's how you can tell, it's a male. Hence their name, the banded mongoose. They have those bands, and they are quite a good number. There is more than 30 over here. They are spread out everywhere. They are walking in that long grass, looking for spiders, frogs, grasshoppers, dung beetles, butterflies, anything that they can find. They're very well spread out everywhere. Every now and then they will sit up to look, if there is a cheetah or a lion coming for them. You can tell they're very busy, foraging, looking for food. And also they do eat snakes and mice, and even small baby rabbits, very young ones, they'll eat, and birds and eggs. There is a lot for them. It might look like it's very hard, and you might think there is nothing, over here, but there is plenty of food. Every now and then, one gets, caught eating something underground, and it doesn't realize how far the other ones have gone, so it has to scamper and run quite quickly. You see how many there are? Very many. It's called a gang of mongoose, and these guys are very fearless. They take care of our snakes, although we don't have that many snakes, but they take care of them, I have seen them go for even the most dangerous snakes that we have here, the black mamba, and they killed it. The secret and the tactic usually is to tire the snake where it will try and hit or, bite one of them, but their reflexes are very fast. They usually dodge it, and the snake usually has got only a number of times that it can strike, and once it can go anymore, then they know, and they're usually very fast. When it strikes, they'll just jump onto the head and actually almost bite off the head, and then they eat it. You'd think they're eating ice cream. I have seen them eat it. It does make the snake look very, very yummy, when they see them eating them. And they have different burrows where they scamper to when there is danger. They're everywhere here. Hello? Yeah, he's sniffing. You might be wondering, you're seeing those white flowers. Sorry, they are not tissues. You might think we're very dirty here. They are called tissue paper flowers, and they are dotted everywhere. That's why you see the white flowers. They are actually flowers. They are not tissues. People are very respectful here. They don't drop tissues everywhere. It's very clean here. If you find a bottle of plastic, you could get a gift. I'm sure the warden will reward you. But this is the flower. It's called the tissue paper flower, or Cicinum tubulosum. And the mongoose don't eat it. I just wanted to mention, because maybe you could see lots of dirty, you could think the mongoose are walking in a very dirty place. This is very pristine and very, very clean. There they are, still looking for something. You say they have a fearless attitude. When you're this small, you need to have a rather, fierce attitude, and they do have that. I have seen them, stand off a jackal. I've seen them stand off a cheetah. So they're actually quite aggressive, and that's why they're called a gang. They attack, they come close to each other and form like a line of defense where they go together in a line. Even big eagles fear them. They don't take them as they take other, small prey. There's so many of them, and I'm sure they're slowly headed to their den. Fraser, you asked me if they den in termite mounds. Yes, they do. They utilize those unused termite mounds that have been left, and also used ones that have got big openings. They will customize the termite mound by going in and making it bigger to accommodate all of them. And they do have a couple dotted within where they forage. So in case of any threat, they know which one to go to. They know which one is the closest, and they know how to get there and the shortest way possible. Look at that. He's the sentry. He's watching. And if there is threat, there is a noise that he would make, and everybody will know. Let's go! Very cute. Mind you, they do make very good pets also. They become very attached to humans and very clean. Yes, they are going farther and farther away. Yes, and now we have topi, we have impala. Oh, look at that. Yes, that's another very beautiful scene of our beautiful impala, and looks like they're coming to say hello, or maybe they want a ride. It's a beautiful herd. That is the main guy. Yeah, he's doing his rounds, making sure that all the ladies are in. Yeah, that's what they do. They spend a lot of their time bringing the females together. Rather very tiring, but that's the effort they put for them to have future generations and to make sure that their gene is spread, and also the females love or mate with the strongest male who shows the best interest, the one that protects them the most. They mate with that one, but he doesn't last very long. Very much, I won't, say much, but very much, he won't last very long. If he's got all these females coming to estrus at the same time, he will get weak very, very quickly. At this time of the year, the impalas are mating a lot. So in about 6 months or so, we will have plenty and plenty of calves. And that's when we see lots of jackals, lots of cheetahs, because this is one of their favorite food. It is a beautiful scene here in Maasai Mara. That is why it was made to be one of the 9 wonders of the world, because of the abundance and the numbers of animals you see here. You cannot compare it to anywhere else. All of them, they look very, very healthy. You can see almost their coats are shining, and they're not interested in really like eating. They're just milling around, enjoying, the afternoon. Yeah, they're quite a distance. I wish I could get closer, but this is quite all right. Here in front of me, it's a topi, all by himself, but he's quite safe in company of the impalas. Yes, you see his coat is quite, clean. Well, I'll link you all the way back down to Duma, where Tristan is looking for some cats.
Well, I'm sure they look healthy after the short rains. They should all look pretty good. There should be some good green grass that is around in the Mara Triangle. Now, it's a very warm welcome to Rusty this afternoon, especially from myself. I haven't seen all of you for a few days now, so nice to be back out again. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tristan. On camera, I've got Sebastian. Well, it's been a few days off because I've had the most ridiculous neck spasm down the right side of my neck, and so if I turn around like with the dexterity of a brick wall, that's why. So it'll be a bit awkward for the next couple of days, but we'll eventually get it out. It feels a lot better today than it has over the past few days. That's for sure. And yes, Kirsty, I cannot mimic a Brent Leo Smith this afternoon, and I certainly will not be having my head on a swivel as we kind of do our afternoon's game drive. It's amazing how irritating it is to have a neck issue, because you can't really do half of what you normally do. So it makes life a little bit tricky. We're just going to say hello to one of the guys. But anyway, the plan is for the afternoon is that we found tracks for a male leopard at Twin Dams. It looked like from early this morning, and so we're just trying to see where they go. Look like they head off towards sort of Weaver's Nest and see if maybe we can find anything. Now, I believe a lot of you are feeling sorry for me. Well, you don't need to feel sorry for me. I'll be fine. It's one of those things. It happens, and it will hopefully be all right. We went to the physio a few days ago, and that sort of helped things, and so hopefully it will be back to new by the next couple of days. That's what I hope anyway, because it's been a boring few days of just sitting around doing nothing, I get quite irritable if I just sit around. So it's nice to be back out again in many respects. I know lots of you have commented on the fact that I've had a haircut. Well, when I went to town to go to the physio, I had a few hours to kill, and I was starting to get a bit woolly around the edges, and so it seems like a fine time to have had a haircut. And so I went to a gentleman by the name of Richard, who basically is the same guy that I go to every single time, and he's got a barber in Hoedspruit, and he actually, funny enough, used to be a guide. He used to work in the Timbavati, and he watches the show all the time, so it's part of the reason why I go there, is because he always supports us, and so it seems like the right thing to do to support him in return. And also, our little town that is Hoedspruit, which is just up the road from where we are. I mean, I say just up the road, it's about an hour and a half's drive, but it's always good to support the local businesses. Zephyr, you say, Tristan, welcome to aging? Yes, indeed. Not very pleasant, is it? I'm not a huge fan of this aging thing. I've had this neck spasm story once before, back when I was about 16, 17, somewhere there. In a rugby game, I got hit funny and the spasm happened. But this is the first time since then, so it's been a long time since that has taken place. But yes, aging. And at the moment, this camp is one of a bunch of invalids at the moment, because we've got Trishala, who I'm sure will show you her fancy footwear. It's the reason why she's been away for a little bit. Just ask her to put her right foot up in the air when she's on edge next to show all of you. And so she's got a damaged foot. Seb is suffering from a sore back as well as now a knee issue that's sprouted today. So this is the car of invalids. David's got a bit of a back issue. Craig's got a back problem. So it's not looking very good at the moment. In fact, we look a little bit like Lauren as well's also got a bit of a back problem at the moment. So we're all kind of not doing very, very well at this stage, but hopefully it will kind of sort itself out and we'll be okay. It certainly feels a lot better. Seb, I hope your knee gets better, because knees are also always a horrible thing to have. Paula, you say everybody is falling apart. Yes, it's not ideal, to be honest with you. I suppose, though, these things happen from time to time. It's always like this. When one person gets hurt, then it seems like everybody gets hurt. There's one thing about our camp is it's the same as when somebody gets sick. A whole bunch of people get sick. It's like everyone has to do things together in this camp. Otherwise, it's not the normal Wild Earth way. So I'm sure we'll all be fine. Nobody's going to... Exactly. Well, exactly, Chris. So when one cam-up hurts its foot, then they all have to hurt their foot, and it's exactly what's happening with back now. Seb, Craig, and David, all with sore backs at the moment. So cam-ups get the cam-up syndrome. It used to be cam-up foot back in 2017, and now it's cam-up back in 2019. Not that I can really kind of say too much, given that I probably look the worst of them at the moment in my ability to move around. So anything to the left at the moment is actually quite fine. I can see you guys from the left, but anything to the right is a disaster. You say James is the only one that's okay, and he's the oldest. He might have a physical body that is okay, but mentally one wonders whether or not his senile ways are starting to sneak in. I'm joking, of course. James obviously is the fittest of the crew by a long shot, and so we just have to give him fun in some way. The only way we really go on a little bit senile, which of course he's not. He's not senile, and he's most certainly well with that. Right, now, as if James is actually losing signal. So before I do that, let's send you across to she who has interesting footwear on.
Yes, I have James in the back with me, and I can attest to the fact that he has not gone senile. He has not. Absolutely not. Well, you all wanted to know about my foot. Well, that's why I haven't been around for the last 4 to 5 weeks almost. My foot has been in a small accident. See, what had happened is Koli had filled his brain with so much knowledge that it was too heavy on his shoulders and it fell onto my foot. No, that's not what happened. We just had a small accident, and then I had broken or fractured 2 of my metatarsals. So let me actually show it to you. So this is what a good foot looks like. All good. And this is what a bad foot looks like. In its moon boot. But it can still move, it can still dance, and most importantly, it can still drive. So, it is very stylish. Thank you, Kirst. I'm sure the whole of FC thinks it's very stylish. Anyway, hopefully, I always worry, They say that the animals go after the lame and the sick. I wonder if I think I fit into that category now. Not sick, but definitely lame. So I try to hide it from them as much as possible. In fact, this morning when we were looking, I was with Jamie. Thank you all so much. It's already better. So all your good vibes have already helped it. Like I was saying earlier this morning, when we were looking for the lions that we just had with Jamie and Craig were being evil, and they suggested that they leave me out in the clearing and see what comes out. It's not a bad idea, actually, but it's just a bit mean. Yeah. So we are now heading down to Treehouse Dam to see what has decided to come and have a drink now that it's cooled down a bit. And they can actually walk about. It's always so nice when I think about my foot. It's always so nice to be back here. And it seems like it just doesn't matter as much when you're back here. When you're at home and you're stuck and cooped up, trying to recover, it's just the most horrible thing. It does so much to you mentally as well. But out here, it just seems so much better. Feels like I don't even worry about it anymore. It's quite cool, I think, that the bush can be therapeutic in that way. Our beard says, if I start swimming, if it starts snowing, sorry. I got distracted by a very cute little dwarf mongoose that was running about here. Yeah, our beard says if it starts snowing, very unlikely in this part of town. Oh, I don't see it anymore. Then I'm 1 foot ahead. Well, I suppose I am. But what good is that in the bush? I need a for real foot. But thank you. At least somewhere I'll be semi-successful, 50% successful. This was actually my first day out driving. It's my first day driving at all since this has happened. Everyone at Juma's got their little injury. They should just put us down, don't you think? Instead, why don't we go to somebody who has no injuries, who could provide you with 100% of their body?
Yes, I'm here, still not very far from the river, and I have come across some bad boys, some baboons. Yeah, he's very busy taking in as much as possible before the last light. This is the olive baboon. That's a nice, huge male. It's very busy enjoying the grass, taking in as much as possible. They do have these cheek pouches that it is said can store almost enough food equivalent to what is in their tummies. So once they fill their tummies, they'll fill the cheek pockets, and so when they stop somewhere, they can eat it at leisure. This is one of the draggers. He's quite behind. The rest are a long way down. Those are few, and then there is more down. They're all heading to their favorite roosting tree. They do have a few, and depends on what they're eating or where the food is available, they'll go to the one that is nearest. They're omnivores, just like us. If you look to the right of that giraffe, there is quite a good number of them. It's quite a long way, but I'm sure you can see them. They're moving around. Yes, they're omnivores, and they will eat insects, and very much they can take small, antelopes, scrub hares, frogs, termites, insects, butterflies, grasshoppers, whatever they can find, they will take. I think this guy wants some attention. What do you think? Should we give him some attention? I have no choice. Yes, Joan, you asked me, are they called olive because of their color? Yes, they are olive. When you see the sun shining on their coat, you will see that olive color. That's why they're called olive. This is one of the few baboons we get. In East Africa, we do have also the yellow, which is almost, actually the coat is quite yellowish. You can tell how high the grass is. That is an impala, and it's disappearing there. And all the baboons, they go in troops of up to 60. They're all hidden in that grass. I can see them. And actually, yeah, there is one to the left. There's two to the left of that impala. The impala feels safe close to these guys because they have very, very good eyesight. And that's why, you know, he's hanging around there. He's all by himself. I'm sure he's very, very secure to have the baboons around, because actually when they are walking in long grass like this, they will find Finak, you asked, you know, how much ground they can cover. Actually, very interesting question. I would say, you know, depends on where they are. Here in the Mara, they can cover a good 2 kilometers. But in different areas, depending on availability of food, I'm sure they can cover more distance. And when there is more, they actually cover very little. Over here, it's about 2 kilometers to go to one. The next home, then they move to another one like that, then they come back to the previous one. That's how they do it. And when they do that, I was just about to tell you, they're very smart. You know, a few of them will, you know, go a long ways forward, then they will go on top of the trees, and so there is enough security. While I drive down the road, I'll take you down to Trishala.
Okay. Hello, hello. I have found something special. A male red-crested korhaan. Now, I think this is quite cool because often you get the birds kind of, they know that where the camera's on them, they just have the sixth sense about it, and they just fly away. Now, in this case, I'm really glad that we caught him right here, and I actually am hoping that he gets up and flies and does his little trick. So they're sometimes called, suicide birds because they go up into the air as a sexual display, or like a display to the females, to let them know that I can drop the fastest to the ground, faster than anyone else. And what they actually do is they go up into the air and then they drop all the way to the bottom, and then they save themselves right at the bottom. It's kind of like, it reminds me of a superhero, you know, like Spider-Man dropping right to the ground and then he makes it. That's what these birds remind me of. And as I say that, he has disappeared from my sight. Like I told you, they have a sixth sense about these things. They know when the camera's on them. Maybe they're made for TV, reality TV. I suppose that's what this is, isn't it? So, motoring ahead to Twin House Dams. Ala Moore says she loves the shape of the head. I think it's got a good head. Definitely got a good head. I like the way they behave very much. That whole suicide thing, I think that's crazy. But yeah, the head is also definitely a good feature, especially with that red crest. Oh, it's so nice to see the bush getting so thick. Look at the grass. It's so tall. I almost think if you have a leopard lying flat in this grass, would you even see it? It's wonderful to come back to this. And I remember when I had left the dams, like Buffelshoek Dam, the dam up in the north, it was so dry. There were patches of so much dryness. And then yesterday when I saw it, it was full, absolutely full. I mean, there were even hippo in there. No, you guys are familiar with that hippo, but I'm just getting to know them. So we decided Twin Dams is the place to go, since hopefully lots of animals will be catching up on a drink in the evening, as a lot of us do. We're always... Oh, I was just about to say that. I'm not sure who that viewer was. Shen? You said, am I going to find Hosanna? And I was literally just about to say, I'm always hoping to find a leopard. Sean, that's it. I'm always hoping to find a leopard. I mean, that is the cherry on top, really. I mean, I love all the animals. I can never choose. I can never choose favorites, colors, animals, insects. I can never choose favorites. But there are things that I look forward to seeing more than I look forward to seeing others. And leopards is definitely that. Ooh, what have we seen here? Oh, look what we... Whoops. Let's just go forward a bit. So we've just caught whiff of some elephants. I'm just going to position myself so you guys can see him. Right there through those bushes. Maybe we can just get a little bit closer. I can't see them very well at the moment, and I don't think you can either. They're feeding at the moment, and she's just seen us. Hi there. Craig, can you get them yet? Not yet. How about there? Let's actually go around here. That must be one of my favorite things, just driving around and, ooh, there's one of these, there's one of these. Just trying to get around them. She's moving in the opposite direction. Lovely. Maybe if we just stay put. Lauren, it is utterly amazing how that can happen. You think these humongous animals must be absolutely easy to see. But they're not. They're also incredibly silent, so you might not even hear them. Now I have lost sight with them, and I think Craig has too. I'm gonna move. Lauren, if you think during the day they disappear easily. Oh, there we go. You should see them at night. I think this is all right. There you go. Like I was saying, Lauren, if you think during the day it's difficult. At night, they can sneak up on you like it's nobody's business. Really nice. Always nice to see elephants. I see there's a few others down there as well. I might just stay put for a little bit and watch them. Look at that. When I arrived here, it was the dry season. Or it was very dry, rather. And you see elephant breaking down trees and stripping bark and all that kind of thing, and you'd hear them distinctly. But look at this. It's so much... They seem so much happier, if I can say that. So much more peaceful. They're eating or feeding in such a more peaceful way. And off they go. Always nice. In the meantime, let us mission about, like we said, to Treehouse Dam. And you can see some fantastic lights with Isaac while we move about.
Another beautiful setting here. Short grass attracts a lot of grazers, and it is evident 100% over here. I have a lot of antelopes surrounding me and my vehicle. Here I have topis, lots of males looking for females, impalas a long ways out there, you know, scanning. That's a beautiful gardenia tree. I know you have ornamental ones. Here they grow to be very big. More topi, a sea of grass, Egyptian geese in front of me over here. You can see them. A giraffe a long ways out. That is not a statue we've put there. It is a giraffe, and you'll see it is shaking a tail. It is a real one. Yes, you can see the tail. Yeah, it's not carved. We didn't put it there purposely to lie to you that, we have giraffes in the plains, but it is a real one. And you can tell even it's opening its mouth, very busy grazing. Brent, you say this is paradise? Yes, it is one way of putting it. It is beautiful. It is paradise on earth. Yes, everybody's here. There's lots of geese. Yeah, everybody's here. These open plains full of animals, I don't know if there's any other word to put it. This is actually, a look of paradise. All the Thompsons running around. Yeah, beautiful balanite tree. All of them are balanitis trees or desert dates. Yeah, Thompsons. And here we have Mr. Meatmaster, the scavenger. He's woken up, and I don't know what is on his agenda today. Looks like he has decided to look beautiful, and I don't think the tongue is enough to keep to make him look attractive. This area is where we have one of our characters that we follow, Waffles, and this could be one of her members. There is another one way back there, but we haven't seen her for quite a while. She has moved dens 2 times, and I think it is because it had been raining and maybe their dens got lots of water, so she decided to move twice. We haven't seen her very much. Look at that, the beautiful scene. It rolls all the way down into the Serengeti. It is not a drawing, my friend. This is real. You are here and you're on safari life. It's all happening here. There's a Tommy who's very skittish and very focused on something. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's afraid of the hyenas attacking her. Yeah. Magical scene. the Olololo Syria escarpment at the backdrop over there. Janet, you say that the topis are endangered. I didn't know that. I don't think they are endangered. We do have a good number of them. Maybe you are referring to another antelope, but the topis are not endangered. And if I'm wrong, please excuse me. Maybe it's some news that are very latest. If I'm wrong, just forgive me, but I know they are not endangered. This is a male, and I can tell because he's got such a funny behavior. If we wait, you will see. He's gonna lift his head, and then he's gonna lift his tail, and he's gonna go around making his rounds looking for a female. You're gonna see that? Are you gonna do it for me? Well, it is a male. He has decided to not do what I taught him to do. Yeah, there's another one at the backdrop there. You see what I was meaning? You know, see that one behind, how they raise the head and the tail? That's, a male, checking out some females. It's coming into rutting season, and, they usually... Okay, while these guys get busy, I'll link you all the way down to Djuma with Trishala with some drinking elephants.
I've also got some things that are having some fun here. These are the ellies that we saw earlier. So what we saw were stragglers, I think, still trying to have their last bit of snack before they come down to grab a drink. Now we have a fairly big herd. This girl here, the one drinking on the left of your screen there, she looks like she's probably in charge at the moment. She looks like the biggest one I see. There's also one at the back who looks quite big. But you can clearly see her mammary glands in the front of this one here. You see there's also a few, there's 2 little calves and 3 kind of youngsters. Not exactly calves hanging about. Oh, this is just too cute. It's always interesting to watch them suck up the water in their trunk, kind of like a straw, and then pour it into their mouths. I've even seen the really tiny babies. They'll kind of come, look at that, swinging your trunk around. If the mum is pouring water into her own mouth, the baby kind of comes up there and takes some of it. Says, "Oh, I can't be bothered using my trunk. It's too hard, Mum. Let me just take some of yours." Now, even this dam was almost nothing when I had left, and look at it now. I'm glad we've had rain at least well enough to fill up the dams this much. I wonder why that a couple of them seem to have some sort of parasite on them, because they keep scratching their legs. I didn't quite catch that one. Nick would like to know, wow, what a question, how the footprint of a large bull would compare to, say, my car tire size. Jeez. I wouldn't know. I mean, if you look at these, I mean, you can't look at them, but the tires on the cars that we're driving right now, they're pretty big. Tires are pretty big. But the tires in, say, my I-20 at home, maybe close. But a car tire is pretty big. And And though an elephant's, the pads of its feet are quite big as well, I don't think the size of, at least not this car's tire. I think it's really impressive that tons of weight can be sitting on those feet. And how silent they are. Listen to that. Wow. Do you even, I mean, I bet you didn't even hear her walk up. You didn't hear her footprints.
You heard something else then.
As James pointed out, we did hear something else. And it was not as elegant as the quiet feet that were going up the hill there. It was, in fact, a bit of flatulence. Well, they seem to be moving off and they've cooled down. And instead, let us send you over to Isaac, who's got something nice for you.
From flatulent elephants to licking hyenas. They were greeting each other, where it is rather a very interesting gesture where they face each other opposite and then they lift their legs and they lick each other's genitalia. That's how sometimes they say, hello, how are you? And they just done that. This is the epic predator of the Maasai Mara, the spotted hyena. And this looks like they're so loving. Yeah, please continue. Maybe that's what she's saying. Yeah, I can't say maybe this is a mother and a youngster. Yeah, they're stretching. They're just walking up, feeling good. Yeah, and the other guy has caught a scent, and I don't know where he's gonna go. Where he's gonna lead him. I don't know what he smells, but he's definitely following a scent. Maybe his brother. In Waffles territory, yeah, the South Clan, North Clan territory. That's where I am, and this could be Waffles, family over here, Waffles clan. We haven't seen her. Remember, I told you earlier on in the show that she has moved dense twice. We have the hyena researchers here. They've been tracking her, but she has moved twice and they've lost her. But we are very busy looking for her and her clan. Something is happening back there. I don't know what it is. Yeah, these two are being feisty. Yeah. Same old problem, I think. Women. Yeah, he's gonna come back. Yeah. The sun is going to be beautiful, the sunset this evening, but it's still quite a quite far. You still have quite about an hour. Yeah, it's gonna be about in another 1 hour or so. Is it 1 hour? Yes, something like that. So it's still quite away, but it is nice to see the toppies in that backlight. Yeah. Yeah, those two want to discuss something. Okay, while these two discuss, we give them privacy and take you to Tristan, who's got something rather itchy.
Well, as you guys can see, we've got a tick that is, well, all of a sudden decided it's been absolutely mobile, running around everywhere, and all of a sudden has decided now it's going to kind of get all of its legs together and lie down and basically not move. So it's a very, very, very large tick. And Cole's law is in effect. It was literally running around everywhere. And as we kind of come to us, it looks like it's kind of just curled up and died almost. Hold on, Seb. It seems like it's stuck on a spider web. Let's have a look here. Goodness gracious me. Come on, little tick. Out you come. Yes, I think it's stuck on a spider web. That's why it's done this. There we go. Let's get rid of your spider web for you so that you can survive. Now, sorry, guys, I'm trying to kind of show you this tick, but there we go. Finally. All right, now let's see if it wakes up again. It's got a little spider web attached to it, so that's probably why it was battling a little bit with being able to actually kind of figure out where to go and what to do, and why it decided just to stop and not move too much. And so hopefully everything will be okay with it, and that it will decide to kind of start moving once again. But it's amazing how big this tick actually is. It's one of the biggest species of tick that we get out in this area, and they actually have quite beautiful colors. They get these sort of bright reds on them, and then this black. Obviously, a tick is never a nice creature. No one really likes ticks very much, and certainly not me. But I find them quite amazing. The fact that they can expand as much as they do, as well as the fact that they can sit for as long as they do without actually eating. Now, I've got another insect that's crawling all over the car. So this little blade of grass is doing lots and lots of work. There is a beautiful kind of beetle that's moving around, and it almost looks a bit velvet antish. Oh, Sorry, guys. Azan, you're saying we have had tick fever today. We've seen a lot of ticks this morning as well as now this afternoon. Now, the reason why I'm trying to move my hand every time this particular insect is moving around is because I'm not sure exactly what it is. It's a beetle of some sort, but it looks like it's almost mimicking a velvet ant. And I'm not sure if these guys are able to actually cause a little bit of damage to us, and so I don't really want it on me. And I haven't seen one of these in ages. I think the last time I saw one was probably around sort of 2012, 2013, somewhere there. So it's been a long time, and I've completely forgotten the name of this particular individual. But beautiful, isn't it? And its antennas certainly are going crazy this afternoon. You can see they're kind of wobbling all over the place as it figures out what's going on. Very cool looking little fella, and like I say, it almost mimics a velvet ant, except the red and the black needs to swap around. All right, little beetle, I'm going to get you off because you're very, very active. We'll go talk about our tick once again. There we go, beetle, out you go. Tick still has not moved at all, and it's funny because it literally was running around everywhere, and we were trying to get it onto a grass stalk so that I could get it off the car safely without hurting it, which I'm sure a lot of you probably think I'm absolutely mad by doing that. But ultimately, these guys also, I'm not sure what the purpose is, but serve a purpose in some way or other. They must do. And, if we're going to look after any kind of nature, we suppose need to even look after the ticks themselves. But exactly, the purpose is to play dead at this stage. But you can actually see, what's quite nice about this is that we can actually see its little face, and there's my finger in relation to the size of this particular tick. So it's quite a big one. That's my index finger that you can see there. And you can actually see its kind of mouth parts. And so this particular tick is in what looks like its last stage of its life. So they'll go through a 3-stage life cycle, this particular species, and it looks as though it's developed its mouth parts as well as it's now got its 4th set of legs. And will probably be able to reproduce this particular one. And so now it's looking for a host in order to expand and grow that body, that it looks all leathery and kind of gross. They're going to try and expand that and grow it as much as possible in order to then reproduce and lay the thousands and thousands and thousands of eggs that ticks do lay. And like I said, they're incredible creatures. The little tick larvae will go almost 2 years without actually finding a host sometimes, and they'll wait until the right host comes past, and then they can jump on and off they go, which is pretty incredible that they don't feed for that amount of time. And you can see the tiny little eyes in the front there as well, and you can see it almost has that same sort of spider look to it. Right, well, we're going to eject our tick off the vehicle. We don't want it in here because no one wants one of those latching onto them. And so we're going to put it into the grass nice and neatly. In the meantime, though, something that is probably not as creepy nor as disgusting to many of you is a beautiful sunset up in the Mara with Isaac.
A time of the day when we make excuses and have a gin and tonic out here in the plains. Only that I'm taking some pills, I would have had one. It is that moment where you need a drink and say goodbye to a beautiful day. This is sometimes how we do it. It is setting. Excuse me, I looked at my watch and actually it wasn't going to go an hour later. It is now. I am surrounded by all beauty of Africa. Topis, Egyptian geese, Thompson's gazelle, hyenas, jackals. Everybody is present here. It is so super cool. Tanya, thank you. I'm very happy that you are appreciating. I hope you have a drink. Even the hyena said yes. Can you hear it? It agrees with you totally, Tanya. It is gorgeous. This hyena is looking at what McDonald's to go to this evening. He's sizing his restaurant, which he's gonna take tonight. Well, remember, all this is live, and it's coming to you live from the Maasai Mara. While I try and move on to go to hyena headquarters, I'll link you all the way to Trishula.
This kudu has been waiting for us for the last 3 minutes, standing there tall, looking very impressive and stunning against the backdrop of the bush and the sky. But of course, she knew that we were coming live. She said, "Nuh-uh, please don't, unless you pay me." And off she was gone. But she looked very impressive on top of that termite mound. Can't say I've ever seen that. Seen a couple of animals do it, a couple of antelopes do it, but not a kudu. Very nice. I thought it was very pretty, and I really thought she was going to stay for us. But at least you managed to get a glimpse. So, off to Twin Dams. The names of Treehouse Dam and Twin Dams have been intertwined incredibly. So it has now become Twin something dams, and now I keep saying Treehouse Dam when I meant Twin Dams. But like you can see, we're going around checking all the hot spots. Strangely, those are the cool spots, because that's where the animals would go now that it's a bit, that they want to really capitalize on this cooling down. Temperature's gone down, they need a drink, really bring their temperatures down. Oh, it feels quite nice. It's a beautiful evening in the bush today. So different to in the dry season. When we were learning all of these, well, when we were trying to, most of the trees and grasses and plants around us had no leaves whatsoever. And we kind of had to learn with the really, and it was not easy at all. In fact, now I find it hard to recognize the tree with the leaves, which is just embarrassing, to be honest. Okay, so I am going to perch myself up here on the dam wall and have a look at what I can find for you. In the meantime, let me to Tristan.
Well, good luck on your perch there, Trishala. Hopefully it will be a good place to scan around and find what you're looking for. We so far have found very little in terms of our scanning and looking about, other than a few little creepy crawlies and some ellies. It's been quite quiet this afternoon. We had those leopard tracks, but they are from early this morning, and so it could be absolutely anywhere. They look like quite big male tracks, so I don't think they're hosanas. I mean, I could be wrong, but that doesn't look like it, and so I'm not sure which leopard it is. I mean, it could be Tingana, it could also be that skittish male that's been kind of hanging around on the southern side. So, you know, but we didn't find much more. It kind of went to a hard section. We lost the tracks, and then it looked as though it was kind of going into the block, but we didn't find anything off Weaver's Nest or elephant carcass or anything like that. Dawson, no, I don't think it's as much as Hosana has moved away from Tingana as that. You'll find Tingana has been moving in very odd patterns lately. He's not quite his normal kind of movements that we were seeing 6 months ago, and that's due to a number of factors. It'll probably be due to Tundi's movements, it'll be due to water availability, food availability, that's kind of shifted and changed things slightly. And so you'll find that the two of them aren't spending nearly as much time in the same areas. Over the winter period, both of them were, most of the sightings we had was because they bumped into each other around where there was water, which essentially was at Vuyatela and Gallagher and kind of just offshoots of that area. So no, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure the two of them will come past one another every now and then again. It's just at the moment there's so much water and so much food all over the place that they kind of spread apart. So you never know also how many females are in Estrus and Torchwood or Buffels Hook that could be keeping Tingana busy, those areas. So yeah, I don't think that they've moved away from one another. They still generally are being seen in the similar sort of places that they were. It's just that they're not as stationary around water as what they were a few months ago. Hosana hardly moved away from Vuyatela Pan and Gallagher Pan, whereas now he drifts to Treehouse Dam, Twin Dams, he goes north towards Buffels Hook. He's got a lot of options and can move around. And so the chances of them actually encountering one another is that much less when this happens. What is going to be interesting, though, is that it's going to be interesting to see after the summer period, does Hosana adopt the same strategy and go back towards waterholes as it dries out once again, and to where he spent this last year, and does then Tingana accept him, or is Tingana going to be a little bit more frail and is not really going to be able to challenge him, or is he going to be sort of try and push Hosana out? Lots of variables at play at the moment, but I don't think that they kind of moved away from each other. I think it's just more water and food availability that has dictated that both are moving a lot more than what they used to, and therefore not bumping into each other nearly as much as what they were. Also, the size of carcasses at the moment, slightly smaller. A lot of them are targeting young kudu, young impalas, which means that those kind of general meals don't last too long at all. In fact, they probably only last a day or so, whereas when they kill these big impalas that are 2-3 days of food, that allows another leopard to kind of sniff it out and be able to then locate where that animal is. So there's a number of factors as to why we're not seeing them interact nearly as much as what we were 6 months ago. Like I say, rainfall is probably the biggest kind of factor in all of that at this stage. Also, Tingy doesn't seem to be his usual self at the moment. I haven't seen him for ages, so the last time I saw him, he was looking fine, but he's just really not been nearly as vocal and hasn't been seen to be as much of a presence of late as he was a few months ago. And like I say, I mean, I don't really know what could be causing that. Without seeing him and spending lots of time with him, it's difficult to kind of know if there's something else that's happening, or if he's starting to get a little bit older, or what this general situation is. Oh, hello, European roller. So few of them around this year. It's not ideal at all. We've seen only a handful of them over the course of this summer. Still a beautiful individual, and you find that they come through obviously every summer, and it just hasn't been a really kind of good summer for them. We've hardly had any, and in fact I have not yet seen a carmine bee-eater either this year, which is quite strange. Now, Magical Dragon Wizard, yes, I think Tingana does owe Hosanna a little Impala birthday present, so maybe Tingana needs to catch one for Hosanna and hang it in a tree for him, and then leave it for his son with a little bow on it and said, "Love, Dad," on it. But I doubt that's going to be the case. I think Tingana will probably feel like his son owes him, even though it's his son's birthday, given that if it wasn't for Tingana, I don't think we would be seeing much of Tingana these days. I think Kukumuri would have run completely taken over, and that would have meant that Hosanna probably would have been chased far afield. I wonder how little Tumba's doing. Haven't heard much about him in the last few days. It seems he was in the west for a while, and those updates from that side haven't really come through too much of late, so I wonder if he's cruising around somewhere else at the moment, and it would be interesting if he ever showed up here again. I'd really like for him to just make one more appearance, but the more he's away, the less likely that's going to be the case, because he seems to be just drifting further and further away from Djuma at this stage, and unlike his kind of relation in the form of Hosanna has not decided to come back as yet. Hosanna went for a little walkabout into Londolozi and thought to himself, no, quite happy to rather come back to Djuma now that Dad is calling, and scent marking once again. So, it'll be interesting. Right, we're going to head to Buffelshoek Dam. I mean, the weather's not really kind of the right time to check water holes only. A lot of the animals will find water in a lot of mud wallows, but you never know. Sometimes big water points can attract something or other, and you can get a surprise at them, so it's always worth just having a little look. Maybe Hosanna is there, or you never know, maybe some aliens or something like that. So it's always a worthwhile endeavor. Raisa, do I know if Lamula left any offspring? Well, theoretically, Tsakani could be. Tingana or Lamula, potentially. She's now in the Kruger National Park and has a cub of her own. So that was Kwatile's daughter. Just trying to think who else could they... I mean, in Londo's there might have been, or Mala Mala, there might have been one or two, but I certainly am not sure on that side. This side, there is no direct offspring that we know of here, unless I'm missing somebody, but I'm just trying to think of all the different offspring, but I don't think so. I don't think he was very successful in that regard with Kwatile. She had Sakani, like I say, but other than that, I think he didn't really get to mate with too many other females. I saw him mating when he first arrived with Intima and Ostrich Koppie's female, but he didn't produce cubs with either of them, if I remember correctly. Much like Hukamuri, it took him repeated effort and a long time until he produced any cubs, but I don't think so. Well, certainly not within the sort of northern Sabi Sand system. Maybe in Londo's or Mala Mala there might be, but certainly not on our side. I mean, I might be wrong, but I can't think of any that would be related to him other than Sakani. Right, we're at Buffelshoek Dam. We're going to have a little scratch around, see what's here. In the meantime, though, off you go to Trishala, who's got a good-looking bird to show you.
Yay, this bird has not flown off. I think this might be the one of the ones that like the attention, and it is, of course, a crested barbet. Can you hear that? That's him calling. There he goes again. Very cool. It's like little clicks. Often, well, you hear these different... Off he goes. Well, I think he gave us a good show while it lasted, definitely. What I was saying is that this type of noise is not one, or this type of song or sound is not one that very... I don't know, you don't usually get that type of noise in birds, or I haven't heard that. You usually get, the whistles and the clicks and that, but this is like almost like a drumming. I quite like it, and also quite like them because they have the crest on their head that makes them look, I mean, excuse me, but a bit gangster. They look a bit rough and tough, and I like it. My crested barbet. It's the first one I've ever put on camera, though, and I do quite like them. Oh, it definitely is a cool bird. I think that word sums that bird up. It's a cool bird. Definitely is. I could see it with a pair of sunglasses in a meme. Definitely. One of you can work on that. We're still cruising about. Oh. Look at this. A pan with nothing too great in it. But while I still cruise around and you see this pan full of nothing, let us go to Tristan, who has the big Buffelshoek Dam full of your two favorite new characters.
Well, we are, as you can see, still at Buffelshoek Dam, and our resident hippos that live here are, well, also around. So Scuba Steve, and, well, we say it's Scuba Steve, and it could be somebody, a different hippo, but we just call it Scuba Steve every time we see it. And Snorkel Sarah is what we're kind of currently looking at. Now, I believe a lot of you are kind of wondering who exactly Lemula is. So Lemula was a male leopard that used to be dominant in the southern sections of the northern Sabi Sands into Mala and Londolozi. He came in 2000, end of 2011, I think, beginning of 2012. Somewhere there, end of 2011 was when he came in. Quite a skittish male to start with, couldn't really get close to him, and then eventually he started to kind of calm down and became a sort of permanent feature of the southern sections. He then disappeared in 2015, when the last time he was actually seen was, funny enough, it was the first kind of day that I had returned back to the northern Sabi Sands when I started at Simambili. We found him in an altercation with Anderson over a warthog kill, and then he wasn't seen again after that, and so not really sure what's happened to him. I suspect that he was involved in some sort of fight with either lions or leopard. I'm not sure if anyone ever actually found his carcass. He did cross into Londolozi that night with Anderson following in behind him into Londo, so it's difficult to know what really happened to him. Now, James, you're saying that Sindile could have possibly been an offspring of Hukumuri as he mated with Shadow. It's very possible, you're right. Actually, I didn't even think of that. So I wonder where Sindile actually is these days. Sindile could be anywhere. I mean, we always kind of say where, that Tingana could have been Sindile's dad, but I suppose Lemula would also have been an individual that could have mated with her and also caused her to fall pregnant and have Sindile. It's very difficult with leopard genetics, and also leopards sometimes will mate with random males even when you don't see it, and so it's not always easy. But for those of you who want to know what he looks like, he was quite a menacing looking fellow. It reminds me a lot of Hukumuri. So if you have a look here, this is a kind of shot of him that I just keep on my phone for when it's not a photo that I took. I actually don't even know who took this photo, but it's a shot that's just so when people ask about him, because he does come up from time to time, you can see what he looks like. So very, very deep orange eyes, and was quite a wild-looking thing, very much like Hukumuri, actually, in a lot of respects. Lots of scars, and wasn't the biggest male leopard either, but he had these intense eyes. And I'm going to scroll to a picture to the left, which is actually Hukumuri, and give you an idea of just quite how similar they actually have, or appearance-wise. Both of them have got sort of these more... I mean, Hukumuri's eyes aren't quite as orange as what Lemula's were. Lemula had these very intense orange eyes, but they have a very kind of similar look, pinkish kind of nose, lots of scars, and both were of a similar size. So it was actually interesting, and both of them kind of inherited territory in almost similar ways, so to speak. I mean, Hukumuri is a little bit of a different one because he kind of just slotted in between Tingana and Anderson and found his way here without really kind of getting too much sort of competition. Lemula, on the other hand, he slotted in because Msokwen male, who is probably Anderson's dad, disappeared. And he used to hang around and he all of a sudden disappeared, and then this male leopard started to kind of show up in that area, and we started to see him. And like I say, I remember the first time I saw him, he's so skittish. He literally just saw the vehicle and was gone in 2 seconds. And then only after a while of tracking him and females, and actually the sighting where he started to kind of become more relaxed, he was mating with ostrich koppies, and a Mvula walked in, and the two of them had a bit of a go and chased each other around a bit, and then ostrich koppies, and he eventually ended up mating with her and Moya for about a week consecutively, and every day we were kind of finding him, and after that he then started to settle down quite a bit, and we used to see him a little bit more. So he was around for a while, and so 2011 to 2015, 4 years, which I suppose in some circles is a good stint, but nothing in comparison to what Tingana's managed to do, and even Mafufanyan. Mvula was also quite a long time, a little bit longer than that. But yeah, it was successful, I suppose, but not very successful in the cub departments. Like I say, I'm not sure of his cubs outside of the northern Sabi Sands, but certainly not too many up in this northern section. So 2 that we can think of. He had it was unlucky in a lot of respects because ostrich koppies and Intima, who were the leopards that were around when he first arrived, both of those were quite old individuals, and so mating with them was quite tricky. And then when he mated with Moya, she didn't fall pregnant from that mating, and it was way out of her range at that stage. She came very far to the east, and then she ended up actually starting to mate with Tyson instead, and I can't remember who was the other male that was around at that stage. There was, I think, Piva male that she ended up mating with down towards the Sand River. There's old tracks for a leopard. I'm not sure which leopard it is, but old tracks. Note to self, sticking one's neck out to the right is not a good idea at this stage. Not exactly comfortable at all. So tracking is going to be fairly interesting over the course of the next little bit, but we'll see how it goes. So yeah, there's been lots of different leopards that have been around, and it's kind of strange to think how much has changed from when I first kind of came up into this northern Sabi Sand area. There's really very few leopards that are still here. It's really Tundi is the only one. I mean, Tingana wasn't even here when I first started. I'm just trying to think of which other leopards were around. Moya was around, but she was tiny at that stage, and Sele was around, and Tundi and Imkanyeni was around. But other than that, they're all gone, I'm afraid. It's quite sad, actually, to think that, Salahesh and Mafufanyan and Mvula and Intima, they've all kind of moved on, and Yambila Jordan, and then just obviously a lot of cats that might still be alive that have moved off in the forms of Mishu and Duna. Kunyuma, obviously, we know is alive. He's moved off. So a lot of you are asking about where Anderson is. I saw a photo from, I think it was the 10th of Jan. Might be wrong. 9th or 10th, somewhere there, from Londolozi. So cruising around by the sounds of things, doing his thing. Seems to have relinquished a lot of his territory to the north here, in favor of maybe going more towards the Sand River, Ottawa, Marthley area, which is northern Londo's, northern Singita. And that's allowed Hukumuri to move around in a lot of places where Anderson used to. Why? I'm not quite sure. Anderson's a much bigger animal, but I don't know. Just seems as though he's happy with what he's got, I suppose. Maybe the density of females is high enough that he can just stay down at the bottom. In a way, it's been a blessing in disguise because it meant that he didn't mate with Tiani, which obviously is his daughter. And so she's rather had cubs now with what sounds like Kukumuri or potentially another skittish male that is being seen on that side at the moment. So that makes, life, I suppose there's a silver lining in that particular regard, and actually with Shidulu too, because he potentially could be a part of Shidulu's kind of lineage as well. It's a bit of an outside chance, but it's possible that he might have been involved there too. So at least he's not mating with his daughters. He's kind of moved further southwards, which is good. But it would be nice. I wish we had seen him more on drive. He was an absolute brute of a leopard and seriously imposing character. You used to see him and you used to get a bit of a chill when you used to look at him. It's not a leopard I used to enjoy finding on foot, actually, funny enough. Not that you ever found him on foot that often. He used to walk so fast. You would start tracking and you would be miles behind him within seconds. But used to try and kind of track him from time to time. I found him a few times on foot, but he was always kind of just, I don't know, those eyes just used to look at you and you used to think to yourself, you weren't sure whether or not this animal was going to come at you or it was going to kind of move away. So, interesting one. Anyway, carry on going down memory lane, I suppose. There's lots of other leopards we can discuss when it comes to those of the past, but in the meantime, back up to the Mara and Isaac.
Well, we have changed and we are on IR now, infrared. It allows us to bring you this game drive in real time. Remember, we are coming to you live from the Maasai Mara. From where you left me, coming here, I have swallowed quite a good number of flies. It's not very good. I think there were 37 of them, and it wasn't very good. There was a section I had to put the windscreen up, which is not good, but I'm okay. I took some water down, now I'm okay. I'm headed to the hyena headquarters, and I'm not very far. I'm trying to use my spotlight to see if I can see any eyes, but I know where they are, so don't you worry. I'll take you to them. They are somewhere here. Sean, they are very good hunters, better than lion, leopard. Yeah, they are very, very good hunters, very efficient. I'll explain to you shortly. Where is that one there? Oh, there. Yeah, I see them. Yes, Sean, hyenas were mistaken for a very long time to be scavengers, but they are actually very good and efficient hunters. Over here, they will run their prey down and they kill it very ruthlessly. They only scavenge when a chance presents itself, but they are very good hunters. And over here, they go for big animals, even the buffalo, they go for them. During the migration, they go for wildebeest and zebra. I have to go quiet because I'm approaching hyena headquarters and I don't want to disturb them. Yes, we are at hyena headquarters. And they are all here. They're coming to say hello. Yeah, very inquisitive little ones. These are the future mechanics from the hyena clan. They like going underneath my car. I think it's a warmth of the vehicle. This is the third day they've done that. I come and they disappear under the vehicle. Yeah, they're everywhere. That's an adult. I think it's a babysitter. And those black ones are young ones. So they're all here. This is the Olololo clan. And there are so many we cannot keep the number. We cannot keep the count. Please engage me on #SafariLife, or you can watch me on YouTube. Yeah, you would like to know something about hyena. Here I am. Looks like those two. Reach a good 1 mile. If the wind is too strong, even more, even 2 miles. If the wind is fast, so it means the smell is consistent. It can be even 2 miles. It can smell. They have very good sense of smell. I have seen incidents where there is a carcass and 360 degrees, there is nobody. Then out of the blue, I start seeing hyenas appear. That is an adult. I think she is the babysitter, or she is the babysitter for this time. They do take turns to take care of the young ones. Just enjoy this, guys. It's one of a kind moment where you come across hyenas. It's unfortunate you cannot feel what I'm hearing underneath the vehicle. They are all banging their heads. I hope they don't burn themselves, with the hot exhaust. Tomorrow I might have a bald one. Hey, get out. We need to see you. Yeah, they're all under the vehicle. I'm sorry. That's the only one remaining. Okay, I'll let them, enjoy the warmth. That's a little guy, maybe about 3.5 months. That's when they start getting really spotty. Those big ears for listening to the slightest movement in the long grass or sound. Beautiful, strong eyesight, nose for breathing, and also sniffing stuff from long distances. This is one of my favorite animal actually, and the main reason it's how they live in a matriarchal society where female is the leader, and all the males are answerable to her, and she chooses who to mate with when she comes into season. It was said that she used to be the one that would breed, but over here with the Olololo clan, the records and the books have been broken. I don't think she's the only one that gives birth. Everybody gives birth, because over here she cannot give birth to more than 3. She's got 2 mammary glands. She cannot suckle the 20 that I have counted here before. There is some very tiny little ones all the way back there. See those ones haven't gotten used to us, so they're staying way back there. I don't know what they're smelling. Hey, there's another one. Yes, very cute when they're young. When they get older, they're totally different. But yes, I agree with you 100%. Very, very cute. You just want to have one. But they can be very smelly. Amanda, you asked me if we have brown hyenas. Unfortunately not. They are more in southern Africa, and mainly in Namibia, South Africa, Botswana, That is where in the Kalahari, those areas, southern African countries, is where they are found. I've never seen one myself, but I have read a lot about them, and that's where they are found, in southern Africa. Over here, we have only the spotted and the striped. The spotted is the most common. I tell you, because of them defecating around here and urinating, it is rather smelly when the wind changes. But I'm okay with that because I won't be here the whole night. Hey guys, why are you guys all coming to the vehicle? Would like to see you. No? Yeah. There's so many, it's only that they've all gone under the vehicle. And they are not scared at all. I've tried to open my door so that they can head back, but they're not afraid. They're not supposed to come towards me. They're supposed to keep that distance that I'm allowed. But what can I do? They just walked. Remember, we are on infrared. It's a light that doesn't disturb them or change, their behavior, the lights, so they are the same. Okay, while I'm here, I'll take you to Tristan, who will tell you a bit more.
Well, indeed, it's always nice that we've got these tools that allows us to be able to watch what's going on without really disturbing animals too much at all. So between FLIR and infrared, it's definitely a massive help because it allows us to kind of, like I say, get into these areas and watch things without feeling bad about watching things. Right. Now, we're trying to kind of scratch around for any sign of something. Somebody told me that there were dogs seen this morning somewhere near Simambili going east, so we're just checking quickly towards Sydney's Dam, seeing if there isn't any sign there. We've also just scratched the boundary just in case Hosanna has been moving around, or Tingana, or one of them has been moving around here. But alas, not very much, only very old tracks that we managed to find. Now, we were talking earlier about leopards. I was just thinking, it's such a shame how so many of kind of Karula's lineage have all kind of disappeared. I mean, I know James spoke about it on Monday with Safari Lives. Oh, somebody's moving couches. Oh, very lovely. Let's just pull off the road, let them come past. They're not really in a vehicle designed for going off-road, particularly not one that's packed full of furniture. So we'll just move over for them. And I was just thinking, it's such a shame in that you've had, obviously Karula has had various offspring, as we know. Most of them have left. In fact, the only one that we're really seeing, or two that we're really seeing, is Tandi and Hosanna. The rest have kind of shifted off, or who knows how many of them are actually even still alive. In Mishu, in Duna, we know Shadow's disappeared, Shongile, Shavinzi. So a lot of kind of different leopards have unfortunately kind of gone and are no longer around. And then on Tandi's side, you've obviously, a lot of her offspring have also gone in terms of Wabayiza, Bahuti, they've also disappeared. And so a lot of the kind of offspring from that lineage are just nowhere to be found these days, which is a shame in many respects. It would have been so nice if all of those had stuck around. There's a bull ellie all the way on Sydney's. I just came here in case dogs might have been hanging around at Sydney's Dam. Often it's a good place for wild dogs. They tend to like it here. It allows them to cross between Manyeleti and the sands, and so you often can pick them up in this particular area. That bull ellie is far in the distance now, just coasting over the dam wall, and no sign of any doggies, that's for sure. If there was dogs around, that elephant would not be as calm as what he is now. There'd be a lot more movement with that bull. Although he's sniffing quite a bit. I wonder if maybe he's not picking up scent of a herd that's potentially crossed through here. You can see his nose is up the whole time, and even pushing that trunk and blowing air up into the roof of his mouth, just trying to kind of figure out what's going on. So you can see it's smelling a lot. He's not just kind of walking along, there's definitely something that he's scenting. I would imagine it would be females or a herd that he's managing to pick up at the moment. Now, it's not a massive bull, but still a decent size one. I think this is one that's been spending some time on quarantine. If only I could see his left ear. This should have a big tear in it if it is the one that I'm thinking of. He's been giving Seb mostly a hard time by standing on the corner of where we try and go, and he kind of blocks the whole road, and you have to wait for him to finish eating marulas, which takes quite some time. And so it's been Seb, Jamie, myself, Ali, we've all had to drive around him multiple times over the course of the last few days. If it is the one with the tear in the left of his ear, of course he won't turn this way, so I can't really see whether or not it is him. Come on, turn your body more, a little bit more. Come on. No.
He's got neck issues as well.
He's also got neck issues, yes, Seb. He's suffering from the same syndrome that I am, except he can turn left. Right. He can't turn left at this stage, so he's opposite to me. Yeah, he can't turn left, exactly, because he at least, I can't turn right, he can't turn left, so we make a fine pair at this stage. But hopefully he'll just turn his head a little bit for us. Looks like he's underneath a marula tree at the moment, so maybe there's a few marulas, and he'll be able to kind of do a little bit of a twirl, and we'll be able to kind of see if it is him. I was just listening to an update regarding the evoker males who are inside Buffels Hook, apparently. So apparently they're sleeping and are not doing too much at this stage. And that's obviously what he was smelling, was marulas, because you can see he's now stopped and is one by one picking them up, as the elephant bulls do at this time of the day. And they love feeding off marulas around this sort of period of the evening. It's amazing. You'll drive quarantine, you won't see anything, and then all of a sudden you'll come out at this time and there will be elephants all over eating marula fruits. I thought I heard an alarm call, but it's just Egyptian geese that are squawking at one another. Is that a waterbuck in front here, Seb? It's getting quite dingy now. It's difficult to see. It looks waterbuck-like, yeah. So there's waterbuck around, which means there's definitely not really any predators that are milling about. Generally, those guys will make themselves quite scarce if there's things like wild dogs and the likes in the area. Right. I think we're going to carry on. Our Ellie's getting far away. It's getting dark, which means that it's not going to be very easy for Seb to be able to focus on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and just go down Sandy Patch, and then we're going to go and check Gallagher and see what's happening on that side. And while we do that, though, let's send you back across to Isaac and see whether or not he's managed to get all those little hyenas out from underneath his car.
I'm still at the hyena headquarters / village. This is not a den anymore, it is a village. There's so many. I've had like 15 go past me to my right. And then something, scared the little ones, and they all ran to the den. They're all spread out here. It will be interesting one evening to come here and spend the whole evening and see what happens in the night and see how many there are. Because for sure, there is more than 30, 40 in this clan. And it is doing very, very well. If you'd caption this clan, how do you caption it? I'll ask my director to tell me at the end of this live broadcast. Remember, this is Safari Live, and you're watching this from the beautiful Maasai Mara Triangle in Kenya. It is almost heading to 8 o'clock East African time. It is pitch dark, and we're using special camera, infrared, to bring you this as it unfolds. This is what they do in the evening. We're not affecting them at all. This little guy wanted to chew on my tire. I remember yesterday I had to leave because there was one that was trying to chew on my tire. He's gone under, so Bungay cannot get that angle. But you can see the little grass shaking very close here to us. He's left. They're usually not very friendly. They would if they had the, mind to, decide to do that. They would, because I would not dare, try and grab one. If they have teeth, they would eat me. They would bite me. If they had that intelligence to decide to seize, and actually attack, they would actually do something. So I'm hoping they stay the same way they are, because they can be. If they decided to, they could be very dangerous. Sorry, it's Bungay. He swallowed a fly, so they all ran away. There's so many, you can see them flying everywhere, the flies. Sorry. That is the safety. When there's danger, they run to the safety of the den. You can see all the heads popping out there. I hope you are enjoying this. Okay. Mr. Inquisitive has come. Yeah, that is the self-proclaimed Land Rover mechanic. Or maybe he's gone to blow dry his hair underneath there with a exhaust pipe. Ivy, you say they like me? Yes. I hope they like me, but they have to keep their distance. I don't think I want them inside the vehicle. They better like me and stay there. I like them also because they keep me very entertained. And when I go back, I feel very satisfied. Yes, while I have my hyena here, Trishala has got her hyena. Let's see what her hyena is doing.
I have found a hyena. We have been desperately searching for them, or rather for the den. And of course I haven't found the den yet, but God, I wish I could. But instead I found this guy. Now, I am not sure who this is, but my gut tells me it's a male. But that is really just my gut. I can't identify him at the moment. But I know that you viewers may be able to, so please, if you do know, let us know. And I can tell you that the hair on his back is really, really light brown, almost to blondie kind of color. Now, I know that Luca is quite pale in color, but I haven't seen him in such a long time. I don't know. If you know, please let us know. Now, we're also thinking about why he could be hanging around here. And so we're having a good look in the trees as well. Maybe there's a kill up there that we don't know anything about yet. Hyenas are really good at that. They're good indicators of many things. I mean, they can lead you to wild dogs, they can lead you to lions, lead you to leopards. Lots and lots of things. So I always enjoy seeing them. No, they get a bad rap sometimes, but totally melt my heart. Look at that. Look at how cute you are. With your ears all intact. See, that also puts me off. The ears are so intact. And I know most of the females at least in the Juma clan that we know of, the fringes of their ears are quite damaged, really. And if you look at corkies, they have that little gangly bit hanging down. There's a rip on one side of the ear. It's the same, I mean, with Hart and Pretty. They all have rips in their ears, but this is quite intact. And I have noticed that the males seem to have these intact ears a bit more than the females do. Rocky guesses that this is Koza. Well, great guess, Rocky, because I wouldn't know at this point. I really can't tell. Sorry, boy, I don't want to give you a name that's not your name. I'll take a nice picture of you and give it to Jamie, and she'll definitely be able to tell us who you are. Look at how cute he is lying on those front paws. Oh, Everyone thinks this hyena looks so sad. Well, I don't know if he looks sad, but he definitely looks pensive. Yeah, he is definitely in his own zone. I think he's just enjoying some quiet time. Maybe he's being henpecked by the woman in the at the termite mound. Maybe he's been rejected. Maybe he hasn't had enough of the cubs taking advantage of him and biting him, and him having to just play along and be nice because he wants to be friendly with the mummies. Maybe he's had enough. Oh, cursed. She says maybe it's because he doesn't know who he is. I'm inclined to go with that one. I think he's absolutely sweet, don't you? I'm so glad I found him. Oh, that's just too cute, him resting on the front paws. And he really was not bothered by us coming quite close to him. I think I am actually going to take a photo for Jamie Patterson, because he has a very distinct... The color of the hairs on his back are quite distinct. Painted Wolf said he's waiting for Hasana to feed him. I can definitely believe that. I mean, they're waiting for anybody to feed him, really. But I suppose his best bet is Hasana at this point. Are you waiting for Hasana to come and feed you? Is that why you picked up your head? Wow, look at those lovely ears. I suppose he does look a bit sad. Nah, just tired. They remind me so much of, like, domestic dogs. The way they lie about like a pet, almost like a pet. Oh. All by yourself. We're also having a bit of a look around at the mounds to check whether the den had moved somewhere around here, because at the moment we're not sure where it is. But we have heard whooping in the night. So promising. At least they'll still be around. At least I hope so. But you're here and it's okay. Gosh, I love cute dog-like animals. That is my biggest weakness. Very cute. So, it's getting a bit darker. And you know what that means? It means, of course, that the predators' time is coming. And they are going to be out and about and looking for a meal. I suppose that's why he's chilling here, waiting for them to come basically donate some food to him. Unwilling donation. And I think that I am going to have a closer look rather, in the trees around here, and maybe a closer look at the mounds around here as well. Because he's not here for nothing. He's definitely not here for nothing. Anyway, while I try to suss out this guy and exactly what he's doing here, let us go to Isaac, who has a few more active hyenas.
I am still here, and I had to start the vehicle because I had one of these guys chewing on something, and the worst thing, I would rather he chew on a tire but not chew on a fuel line. So that's why they have gone all out there, because I started the vehicle and they all left. But for some reason, they still want their feathers, their hairs, blow dried, so they go for the warmth underneath. I don't know what that guy is coming to do. It looks like there's two more over there. This is one of the most successful predator in East Central and all of Africa plains. And there is a population of over 50,000 all over Africa, so it's not under any threat. Places where they are actually under threat is where there is lots of farming, and when I say farming, it is mainly, domestic cows, livestock, I would say, because they come for those animals, then the owners would or will poison the meat, and it does kill quite a lot of them. It does cause a chain reaction where, apart from them, jackals, vultures would be affected. But luckily over here, we don't have that kind of problem, because the management of the triangle make sure that there is no human habitation close to here, so they don't go to the villages. Susan, you say they stay very much like a domestic dog, if they stay with their moms. Yes, very much so. They will stick very close to their mothers, and their mothers would go out to eat and then come back to milk the little guys, and they will stick to them sometimes all their lives, because they become clan members. I hope I answered your question. If not, if you're not satisfied, you can come back to me before the end of this live broadcast, and I will maybe answer you again. Yes, as you can tell here, most of these are youngsters. That is play, but it can be very rough, because the older ones grab on the neck and sometimes shake it around. That's how they learn to rip off meat, because they don't chew. They just cut it off and swallow it whole. I was talking about, how successful these guys are, and they're very widespread. That is play, hyena style. Bite the neck and the ears of your younger sibling. He's quite a little feisty one, very tough. You say that you think hyena cubs play more than lion cubs. I agree with you totally. They are much more active. Yes, they are always doing something, hyenas. And the only time I have seen them resting and enjoying the sun, it's very early in the morning when it is cool. They try to warm up, but once they've warmed up, then they're very playful. I agree with you totally. Yeah. Oh, you're gonna smother him. Come on. A tough little guy, this one. Okay, round one finished. Round two. Okay, somebody has given up. Okay, go to the other one. Their skins are very tough, unlike ours. That play, if it was us, I would have lots of cuts, or you would have lots of cuts. But their skins are very tough, so it won't break through. And also that, skin protects them, and the hairs protects them from breaking the skin. I think that's a sub-adult there. He was looking around. Is the little guy out again? Yes, there they are. There is quite a good number. That is an area that we don't go. We try and keep it the way it is. Nancy, I agree. I was just about to say that earlier, and then I said, let me see if somebody will say something about the biting of the ears. Exactly, Nancy. This is how sometimes we get those identification marks from them biting each other's ears. Sometimes it will become rough, and maybe then one will try and pull off while the other one is holding, so it will get a slash or a cut, or a chunk will be lost. So it remains to be a permanent scar. And but luckily in this korhaan here, they look all very intact, and it's making our life a bit difficult to try and identify individuals. But sooner or later we'll be picking individuals and learning who they are. I say, sometimes we do get one that is very interested in the vehicle. Here it's like everybody. Yeah. Everybody is interested. Quite interesting when we shine at him like that. He looks, when we actually illuminate with the infrared, he looks like a wild dog. Can you do that again, Bungay? You just close. If you look at that, if you didn't know what you're looking at for the first time, you'd think it's a wild dog. Yes, he's such a beauty. Okay, I'm still here. I'll link you down to Tristan, who's doing game driving on a Spotlight.
Well, it must be a lot of fun spending time at those hyena dens. I was 7 hours just talking about it. The hyena dens are always great, especially when there's lots and lots of little ones that are around. That always makes for a lot of entertaining kind of sightings, and they really are fun little animals when they're as small as that. So I'm sure Isaac has been thoroughly spoilt this evening. Now what we're doing is we've checked Gallagher Pan, we've checked Sandy Patch, we've checked pretty much everywhere. No sign of anything. And I was exactly about to hit that nail on the head. I just said that exact same thing to Seb. So a lot of you are asking where the chameleons are, and I was just saying to Seb, where are all the chameleons? Because when was it? Saturday night. Is that the last night I drove? Yes, Saturday night. I had 7 chameleons on my way home from doing our rehearsal. And they were all over the place, and we've been struggling to find them. So I'm just trying to drive some of the roads that I drove that night, and try and see if I can find one for you guys. We spotted one that was about this size. It was absolutely tiny, and then we had a lot of obviously bigger ones. So now Kirst is piling on the pressure, saying 2 minutes. Well, Kirst, maybe we're a bit early, but let's try and see. Maybe we can find one. What's that there? If that's a chameleon, I'm going to be very happy. I don't think it is, Seb, but let's just double check quickly. Is it? Where? Right. Yeah, on that first bush. We can pretend that it's not and just don't zoom in. No, I don't think it is, Seb. It looks leaf-like. No, it's a leaf. Just straight in the middle there, it's a leaf. Don't stress. It's the way that it kind of was shining. Almost looked a bit chameleon-like. But there was a leafy chameleon. I suppose that's what chameleons are trying to do. So if you're spotting leaves and not chameleons, I suppose they're doing their job. But we're just going to try and see. Maybe with the kind of overcast conditions, maybe one will come out for us. But I'm hoping that we'll get one. Now I've got 1 minute to find you a chameleon. Oh no, Sebastian, this is drama-filled. Will we find it? I don't think so. These are the wrong kind of trees that I've got here. I need different trees. No, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Don't think we're going to find a chameleon in 30 seconds, unfortunately, because now even the credits are going to be rolling, which means that poor Seb can't change his shot. So I don't think we're going to find a chameleon at all, unfortunately. But hopefully you guys had at least a fun day with us anyway, regardless of us not finding a chameleon. We'll certainly try again tomorrow night. But from all of us, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like I say, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all tomorrow morning, bright and early, for the sunrise safari.